up, guys? Happy Monday, February 28, 2022. We have 7 games on the docket tonight to break down. It's a fun slate. It's a quick slate, as the last game is an hour after the first game. So it's going to play like a turbo and get you in bed at a decent hour. Or you can jump on Fortnite at 9 p.m. like me. I don't really know. But yeah, good little recharge for me yesterday, and nice little day off after having a nice little week off. So I'm ready to get back into it. Today's slate, we just talked about it for a little bit on the preceding PrizePicks show. Looks kind of fun. A lot of teams I like, and no must-have massive pay-up options like the Jokic, like the Embiid, Hardens of the world. So should be fun to make some creative lineups. I'm Gun, twitter.com/Gundacker. By the way, I noted earlier, apparently I'm just a few away from 3K followers on Twitter. So if you're not following me on Twitter, you want to be number 3,000, you have a chance. So go twitter.com/Gundacker, hit that young follow. I'm joined today on a Monday. I did not expect that, Raj. I was about to go live, and then you were like, hey, you streaming? I was like, what? So what's up, Raj? I haven't really seen you much on this side of the All-Star break. Doing all right?
Another day, another grind. Been all right. Able to get some time in for a stream today, which is always nice. And honestly, I feel like last week was a little rough. It was a little rough.
Yeah, Saturday was the trolliest slate we'd seen in a while. I did a little bit of venting about it on the PrizePicks stream, but if you guys remember Saturday, it was the Fred VanVleet unlikely to play. And then he plays, and then Siakam was questionable. Both of that was on night 2 of a back-to-back. The Magic home favorites against the Rockets, and then the referees just could not stop calling fouls. So it was and then Greg Popovich, right? He was involved in that slate.
Nick Nurse dropped us, pull the pop, as they said.
And then Pop was like, "Hey, hold my beer," and he was like, "I think Langford and everybody will play," and then. Ended up starting not Jock Landale. Zach Collins was on a 15-minute limit. He ended up only playing 17, but he had like 14 in the first half. I was like, what is going on? So it was just one of those headache days. But today feels a little bit more clear-cut and a little less landminey in terms of coach predictability versus just the matchups and the playing ranges of outcomes. And that's what I prefer. I hate we could play ranges of outcomes and use math history and usage rates and all that good stuff, but we can't play what is Popovich, what is Nick Nurse thinking. It becomes much more frustrating. What's up, chat? How you guys doing? Happy Monday. Shout out to Mia Moore, William Lewis, Skimmer in the chat, Fear Money. Hope you guys are doing all right. Appreciate you guys coming over from the PrizePicks stream as well. And then Raj, I'm launching a YouTube free Discord, so we'll continue to plug that in chat. If you guys want to be part of that, let me put that there in the chat. Keep joining that. Keep it going. We'll be trying to staff it with little mods and stuff like that. But it should be a lot of fun, man. I'm excited for that to hopefully be another tool that you guys can use, a free resource, because you guys bring the fire in the live chat. So hey, man, I don't want to limit you guys to 2 or 3 hours a day of bouncing ideas off each other. So get in that Discord, and I'll try and pop in as much as I can, and hopefully it'll grow, and we'll have some fun with it. What's up? Fear Money says, my son turned 15th, February 24th, and I'm 40. Oh, man. He lives 3 hours away from me. I did 100 miles per hour all the way to Green Bay to get him. God dang, bro. Chill. Hey, man. Don't drive like that. We need you to see 41. 41. In the last hour, Raj, I did get a little bit of news while I was on the air for the PrizePicks show. We got Malcolm Brogdon ruled out, which opened up some lanes here on the Pacers. So that'll be a talking point when we get to the Halliburton, Buddy Hield, and what to do with the O'Shea Brissett conversation. So we'll jump into all that. Let me first do a little bit of plug. Let's jump into the RunDFS.com VIP spreadsheet. Before we do that, I'll remind you guys that this stream is powered by RunDFS.com. And RunDFS.com is powered by me, so it's kind of a mutually beneficial situation. If you guys want access to the spreadsheet that I'll be referencing throughout the duration of the stream, go to RunDFS.com, get yourself a membership, find something that's right for you. And when you do, check out the VIP portal tab, and then you'll be able to get a link to the spreadsheet, get a link to the premium Discord, and in that premium Discord, I'll be there for the 2 hours preceding lock, talking about all the news, all the stuff that's coming out. Like I said, I like this slate the way it is, just based on the games, and then I also like that it's an hour sweat in terms of having to worry about late swaps. So much more convenient. So it should be a lot of fun to divvy up and break down. What's up, Andrew Martinez? What up, Skimmer? The vitamin store is running a sale on Bang energy drinks, Skimmer. So that's crazy. You know, I watched a Fortnite YouTuber that had some pretty egregious Bang product placement. And he does not look like the ambassadors that they advertise on their website. So I wonder if they're starting to open up to more non-bodybuilder types for endorsements. But that's good to know, Skimmer. I usually just get my Bang from Instacart, $2 a can, right? How would you rank the Pacers with Brogdon and Stevenson out? Halliburton and Hield, and then kind of go from there. Brissett, yeah. What up, Neville? What up, Doug? I'm not seeing a lot of value on FanDuel outside of Gabe. So, Doug, one of the things that I was happy about with Brogdon being rolled out was that Brogdon got ruled out because he was far too cheap based on the minutes that we had seen him accomplish yesterday, right? And I just thought there was going to be no way around that. Do I still have him in the sheet? Yeah, he was at 5,800 on FanDuel. So, it kind of takes away a free square there. So maybe we get a little bit creative when it comes to value. But like I said, it's not a ton of like 12K to offset and where you need to overexert some value. But I think there might be some some spots to get creative, right? Yeah. Anyway, Raj, you more on DraftKings still or PrizePicks or?
I'm still on DraftKings, still on PrizePicks. Still chasing 100K on DraftKings. And so even PrizePicks, I mean, they just been getting sharper. I'm not running as well, but PrizePicks was a rough week last week too, so got to get back on track.
Bro, the week before the All-Star break, like PrizePicks was looking like a savings account, right? I was like, man, this is so much free. And then during that week where there was no NBA, dog, I started betting the most random stuff. I literally tanked like $1,200 on CS:GO and League of Legends. So
gotta get you.
So we back at it here. But nah, it's the PrizePicks has been so much fun though. So I'm excited. And I like tonight's slate. We jotted down quite a few picks that we're on, so I'm hoping to start the grind back up, man. All right, so let's jump into game number one here. Minnesota Timberwolves at the Cleveland Cavaliers. Project starting five for the T-Wolves. Patrick Beverley, D'Angelo Russell crossing over with Anthony Edwards, Jared Vanderbilt, and Karl Anthony Towns. The Big Cat, Ernie Ladd taking on Brandon Goodwin. Isaac Okoro, Larry Markkinen, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen. 218.5 total, 3.5 point spread favor the visiting Minnesota Timberwolves. There is no Darius Garland, no Karis LeVert, no Rajon Rondo. So we're looking at Brandon Goodwin. We're looking at 10-day contract Tim Frazier, and obviously Cedi Osman as well. Brandon Goodwin moved up to 5K on DK, a little bit over. So we're going to need 30-plus fantasy points there on him. But that's about what the projection's spitting back for me. Like I said on the Saturday stream, it does feel like the guy that's not starting in their triangle of backup point guards, like when Rondo started, Goodwin was the better play. When Goodwin started, Cedi Osman was the better play. When Cedi Osman started, Goodwin's the better play. In that last outing, that's kind of what we got again. Brandon Goodwin, 38 minutes against the Wizards, 2 for 11, 23 fantasy points. I'm willing to look past the 2 because of the 11, the double-digit shot attempts, and the Minnesota Timberwolves playing at a faster pace and more porous defense than the T-Wolves here. So I'm going to trust the model, trust the projections here. I'm not going to have a whole lot from this game. I like a lot elsewhere. But looking at this front court as well, Jared Allen's coming back with a nice little projection on both sides for me, 40 plus. I definitely wouldn't talk you off Evan Mobley. I think the guy that I end up having the most of here in this Cavs 7-footer trio is probably going to be Lauri Markkanen. He has contributed pretty well in his first couple games back, especially without Darius Garland. Has got you 20 plus real points in back-to-back games, shooting 33, 37%. Many of those shots are going to be from behind the arc, and I do think it's a solid spot for him to continue to build on this pretty okay price tag. We talked about not a lot of extravagant value here, so I don't mind getting to Markkanen still. Kevin Love's minutes are a problem, right? This is a guy that I thought we could get some steam on him for 6th man of the year, and then on this side of the All-Star break, we've seen him play 17 and 14 minutes, and of course, in those minutes, giving us near point per minute production, but not quite the same minute equity that we'd had on the other side of the All-Star break, or he's pushing mid-20s to 30 minutes. I guess Lauri Markkanen is the direct impact on his minutes going down, but unfortunate for maybe some of you future bettors with some Kevin Love tickets here. Raj, what are you taking away from this game? I think Goodwin, Markkanen, because of their price points, I'm just going to get to maybe more ownership than I should unless we get more value opening up. Do you have a lean on Mobley versus Allen? Do you even think you're going to get to either of these two? And then rank the T-Wolves big three. Cavs going to keep the pace as slow as they can keep it, and their defense has been pretty solid because of the 3 7-footers. But it's not outside the realm of possibility or range of outcomes for D'Angelo Russell to give you 50-plus fantasy points. Cat as well, and Edwards in the mix. I usually go Cat 1, D-Russ 2, Edwards 3 because of volatility versus floor. But what are you thinking here for T-Wolves and Cavs?
So when it comes to Brandon Goodwin first, I think for me it's going to come down to how much he's owned. At 5,200, I just think he's lacking a little bit of upside there. In a great game, I think he has 30. I think that's his upside. So at 5,200, I mean, you need that in tournaments. I still think he has a floor in the low 20s. So not running to play him at that price on DK. You mentioned Markkanen at 6K. I think that's fine. I think he's good for 30 here. But again, like a 30 is kind of fun with. If you fade your hat, you're fine with it too. And if you get your 30 at 6K, you're kind of okay. So no one's complaining. I think that's his most likely outcome. And the guy with kind of tournament upside here is Jared Allen, 7,300 against Cat. Should see 30 to 35 minutes. I think he has 50-point upside here. So at 7,300, I think he has upside there. So I like Jared Allen in tournaments. And the Minnesota side, I mean, yeah, it's just the big three of D'Angelo Russell, 7,200, Edwards, and Cat. I do like Edwards and Russell's prices. Now, both those guys could easily get you 40 to 50 DKP, and they're 7,200 and 7K on DK. So if it's just fun to kind of alternate through those guys, I think that's fine. Definitely wouldn't play them together in this matchup. But I expect this game to be a low-scoring game compared to other games on the slate. So not running to play them, but those prices are intriguing.
Yeah, D-Russ has definitely shown a little bit of upside lately. He was in one of my best lineups. Was it Friday or Saturday? Where he just kind of really popped off, and we saw some high assist rates come out of him. Well, like I said, there's enough volatility within the big three that there's going to be games where Edwards pops back off and he gets 20, 30 real points. But lately, D-Russ has been okay for me. I do think I just set some rules, in 50 to 100 lineups. I don't want overlap, at least. I probably don't want more than 2 of the big three, but I probably just stick with 1 and hope for that max ceiling game from 1, and that the other 2 just kind of have average games. So that's probably how I'll get exposure to them. If I even get here that much, Cat as well. Stands out as a guy that if we're looking for 50, 60 fantasy points, we could justify clicking on his name. I think today we'll see a lot more eyes on like a Sabonis at the center eligible spot. But we can't forget Cat has 48, 49, 68 fantasy point potential. The one game against the Cavs earlier this season, 30 minutes, 38 fantasy points. So if we can stretch those minutes a little bit more, maybe get there. But I'm with you. Overall, this game's probably gonna be one of my lesser exposed games outside of the 5-6K Goodwin and Markkanen exposure here. I don't have Yeah, I don't have that. All right. Chat, what are you guys thinking on this one before we move on to the other one? CEH says Joker had some dimes last night. Bro, Jokic is a beast. So good. Kevin Love seems too cheap on
Jokic would
FanDuel.
literally be the second best player in the NBA in the 90s. I just want to say that to all these people.
The second best?
He'd be the second best player in the 90s, 100% in the 90s.
I'm scared to ask you who's won. I'm hoping it's Jordan.
Yeah, obviously it's Jordan.
Okay, because you're Mr. Hey, you're Mr. All right. Yeah, you LeBron fans are going through it right now.
This whole idea how the 90s was somehow a tougher era, like Giannis Antetokounmpo would be a top 3 player in the 90s with Jokic.
Bro, did you see that clip of what's his name from the Knicks saying that Giannis would come off the bench in his era?
That's what I'm saying. What are you guys talking about?
What's that guy's name? Oakley, Charles Oakley.
Yeah, that's a joke. It's just such a joke. Giannis would give Oakley the work. Oakley was a tough dude, but Giannis would give him the work.
That's crazy. Ever since you and Chronic put me on CSGO, I've been on HLTV like it's a real sport. I mean, I got love for esports, I really do. But it was just a tough stretch there, especially when I don't know esports, right? I'm blind, and I was getting some outlier performances opposite of what I was on. What are you gonna do? Damron in the chat. Damron is in San Francisco right now. He said he's the only straight guy in San Fran. It's like he's surrounded by 100,000 Rajas.
100,000. I mean, must be a lot of incredibly handsome, fun people. I don't know. That's what you're trying to say.
I mean, that's what I took from that. I don't know if anybody else got anything different from that, but yeah.
I don't know what it's trying to say.
Here, what up, Obi-Wan? Joker can't guard any of the great bigs. Nah, but he can. I don't like this barbershop debate of 2020s versus 1990s guys. Could you imagine Patrick Ewing on the perimeter trying to guard Jokic? It's it's a little different. Yeah. What are you gonna do?
I just also want to say, like, in what sport is the expansion era ever ever a tough era? Like in the history of sports, when is the expansion era ever the toughest era in sport in that league? It's never. Yeah. Again, people just don't like facts. I don't know.
But people do like the Orlando Magic hosting the Indiana Pacers. Project starting fire for the Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield, maybe Chris Duarte. I'm not sure what the starting lineup is going to be. O'Shea Brissett might slide to the 3. Isaiah Jackson, maybe you get Goga in the mix. Terry Taylor, somebody like that. Give you some time to draw and connect dots there. They'll be up against Cole Anthony, Jalen Suggs, Franz Wagner, Wendell Carter, and Mo Bamba. He's got calling 232.5 total, 1.5 point spread in favor of the Orlando Magic. Obviously, the Pacers are going to project really well for isolated usage and big minutes on guys like Halliburton, Buddy Hield, O'Shea Brissett. I was really privy to a lot of these PrizePicks lines for the Pacers on the preceding PrizePicks show. I think that's going to translate and overlap pretty well into the DFS show. By the way, last night, Chronic, I don't know if you saw it, the Pacers dropped 128 on the Celtics. Celtics, of course, have been elite defensively lately. Yo, TJ with the sub. I appreciate that. Welcome to the channel. So shout out to the Pacers for cracking that armor. And today they get to curtain call against a much more porous defense, a bottom 6 team in defense, I believe, and of course a worse offense. And we're getting a lot of implied real points here. But what I want to do is go use the NBA Wowie tool via Add More Funds, and we're going to put Halliburton and Buddy Hield on. I'm going to go ahead and take off Malcolm Brogdon, and this will kind of paint a picture for us for how effective Halliburton's been, but maybe more so sneaky in front of our face is Buddy Hield. The minutes Hield has been getting, and then 20 plus real points, yeah, that can happen, but he's been kind of giving us some RA in the PRA as well. So maybe a nice little team stack is a prevalent approach. Buddy Hield, Tyrese Halliburton in 166 minutes of this split together with Brogdon off the court. 20+% usage rate for the both of them. A 37% assist percentage on Tyrese Halliburton. About a fantasy point per minute on Hield. 1.2 for Halliburton. And even more so, context to this split is they got built-in chemistry, right, from Sacramento. So it's reasonable to suggest, that's going to continue here. And if we lose a couple minutes of Lance Stevenson, I think we still expect 37 plus minutes of Haliburton and Buddy Hield in close games. And I think the price is fine. Maybe Haliburton's price went backwards because of Brogdon emerging. 8,600 is going to be way too cheap of a price point for me to look past on DK. And Buddy Hield, historically, he's not been a 7K player, but he's starting to be someone I'm going to have to respect a little bit. I still think his PRA on PrizePicks is my favorite way to get exposure to Hield's game tonight. And then O'Shea Brissett. DraftKings 5,900 on Fanduel 75. That's one of the more egregious gaps, discrepancies, if you will, daddy, between Fanduel and DK. That was a little Dusty Rhodes for you. How you like that? Raj, what are you thinking with this game? I think the unpredictable part is in the Magic. Magic, of course, going to throw a couple minutes to Markelle Fultz tonight. We'll see how he looks. But on that Houston game, we saw some instant foul trouble, kind of getting Suggs out of the way, and then the front court got in foul trouble, and Chuma Akeke popped off for a big fantasy game. Where do you start carving out some exposures to the Magic? They have one of the highest team totals implied on the slate today, so you feel like you don't want none of it. And sub 7K Cole Anthony does have an outcome of 40 plus fantasy points, and that would be well above what you need at that price point. And then of course guys like Franz Wagner, Wendell Carter, Mo Bamba, all in and of themselves have ability to pop. Typically Wendell Carter's been my safest way to get exposure to the Magic in the last month or so. But what the heck are you doing here? I imagine Haliburton at 86 on DK is knocking on the door of tier 1 exposure.
Yeah, Haliburton for me, definitely tier 1 at 8,600. It's his show with no Brogdon and Lance Steven questionable. I think that gives him even a kind of a bigger minutes bump where you might see, he's already seeing close to 38, 39. He's going to see, I wouldn't be shocked if he plays 40 minutes tonight. So give me all the Haliburton here. Buddy Hield and Brissett are the other two guys on Indiana who I really like. Buddy Hield, 7K, not the most comfortable price tag. Probably needs to get you 25 plus real life points for sure. I mean, he can do that. He's gonna chuck shots. If he gets hot from 3, he can do that. 50 points last time against OKC and 38 against a tough Boston defense. So don't mind that. And Brissett, I think the guy's super talented. Not that consistent, but past few games, 13, 17, 14 shots. So I like the shot totals here. It's Orlando, and he's still only 5,900. So I think 5,900, he has a pretty high floor here against Orlando. He should be good for 30 plus, and that's 40 plus upside. Orlando's definitely the interesting team here. I think with Markelle Fultz back, I'm probably going to give him 15 minutes here. I feel like he takes away just enough from a guy like Jalen Suggs or Anthony, where their ceilings aren't that appealing. I think Anthony has 6,800.
See, I was thinking if he comes off the bench, it might just dig into some Gary Harris, Terrence Ross, RJ Hampton more so than the starters. But I don't have big minutes on the starters anyway. I haven't had. But the Magic are one of those teams that are always getting blown out. I never really know what their minutes should be because they often lose a fourth quarter.
Yeah. I'm with you with, I think, Wendell Carter Jr., 7,400. He dropped 50 on Indiana last time. I think it's a great matchup for him. He should feast in there. If he sees 35 minutes, I think he's good for 40 plus here and could touch 50. So Wendell Carter is definitely my favorite play on Orlando.
Yeah, he definitely feels like the safest play. I know the other guys have tournament winning upside though, and the Pacers, as efficient as it feels like their offense has been lately, their defense has certainly not been one that I'm trembling from. So I could get behind some Magic here. They are favorited here. So with a 17 point total, that's nothing to shake a stick at. So let's get caught up on chat before we move on to the next one. Aaron Campbell says Oakley just hating like most Ode heads. I'm 43 and I know Greek would start in any area. Greek is just an insane specimen. What up, Mr. Tarin? What'd you think? Carter Jr. points on PrizePicks on Wendell Carter. Let's see. He averages 14 today. I have him, or at least right now, I have him projected for. Let's go look at the player props tab in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet. Wendell, I have him for 15.5 points, and PrizePicks has Wendell Carter Jr. at 16. So that's about right. I think the Pacers are porous enough in their front court defense that you could attack it. Probably I'd throw a blanket over like fantasy points or something, but it wasn't on my short list of props I was targeting today. Fultz is in the way today for the guards. Maybe it's just unknown. I would assume that they're gonna ramp him up to where it could be like 8 minutes, 10 minutes, and go from there. But I don't know for sure. What up, TJ? The Greek Freak probably wouldn't get to the line as frequently as he does now, bro. I don't know, man. The 90s lore. People think like it's prison basketball where you gotta be bleeding from the mouth to get fouls and stuff.
I was gonna say that's not what the only reason why it was more physical because players were a lot slower and couldn't stay in front of guys that didn't really play defense. Just because you were able to nudge them doesn't mean it was good defense. It was physical defense because guys were slower and less athletic.
Yeah, a lot more scoring in the paint. Like I think we looked at it during one of the debates in the Discord not so long ago. Whereas, like in '88, we looked at the Celtics team. I think it was something like they averaged 3.5 3-point attempts or something dumb like that. It was really really low, and then it's like been like 6-7x in these days where you're getting like 28 threes a game. So yes, more points in the paint. It's going to be more body contact, but it's not to discredit any error. But I always think it's kind of cringe when people start comparing players 20, 30 years apart. It's not the same. Like,
for sure. Like how are you gonna compare, George Mikan, to a great today,
or
right? That's not fair.
Jacob DeGrom versus Babe Ruth. You know what I mean? It's just
like a black and white picture. Of course, yeah. Like, that's the thing with baseball though, where it's just like baseball has a thing where like you see every list. It's like 9 out of the top 10 players are like black and white photos. And again, it's fine, but like how much do we really know about them?
We don't. Just shut up and appreciate the greatness. Doug says, how many minutes do you project for Jackson for? Do you think Jalen Smith will continue to get more time off the bench? So, the log jam in the front court for the Pacers, O'Shea Brissett, Isaiah Jackson, Jalen Smith, Goga Batadze, Terry Taylor, they use as a big at times. Right now, I got Isaiah Jackson at 22. What we've seen from Isaiah Jackson, much like Jalen Smith, really good per minute, right? Every now and then, gets you in a little bit of foul trouble. But right now, I put him modestly at 22 minutes, and hopefully that's enough to live by, right? 2023, 12 his last couple games. Per minute, fine. But as long as Jalen Smith is there, as long as Goga is there, O'Shea Brissett, guys like that, I'm not prepared to play it 30 minutes on him. I put 25 on Jalen Smith for what it's worth, right? Greek would be Wilt the Stilt times 10 in the 60s. Maybe. And that's another thing, right? If Greek was playing more guys that look like me than more guys that look like him, he would probably be dropping 100 a night, if you know what I mean. 3-point shot changed the game. Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Babe Ruth was built like somebody grandma, no cap. But that's the beautiful thing. You can still be built like that. Bro, if
Babe was no gym warrior. Yeah, I mean, baseball players don't really have to be a gym warrior.
What's the center from the catcher from the Toronto Blue Jays? Short dude. Man. Is he a catcher? I don't want to say it's not Guillorme, right? Is it Guillorme? Anyway,
Gabriel Marit. No, he's not.
No, it's
Alejandro.
I don't know. He's a really short, stocky dude, but my boy got a swing on him. Anyway, let's
shut up, Prince Fielder, the face of overweight athletes who are incredible at their sport.
Okay, right? David Ortiz would like a word with you. Chicago Bulls at the Miami Heat. Next game on the docket. Project starting 5 for the Bulls. Ayo DeSumo, Zach LaVine, Javonte Green, DeMar DeRozan, and Nikola Vucevic up against Gabe Vincent, Duncan Robinson, Jimmy Butler, PJ Tucker, and Bam Adebayo. By the way, the name I was looking for, I had to pull up the Blue Jays here because it's I hate when you know that feeling when you're thinking of a guy and you can't think of the name, and then it just bothers you for an hour. That's how my brain works. Let's see, 2021. God dang it! Why can't I think of this guy's name right now? Little short. He's stocky. He's short, but I swear every time I watch him, he homers. He was DHing for them. Is Alejandro Kirk? Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
Alejandro Kirk. Yeah,
maybe.
it's kind of a
All
short
right.
dude.
So no Kyle Lowry here. Jimmy Butler has really thrived in the absence of Kyle Lowry, especially when it comes to assists per game. And this is one of the prop lines for Prize Picks that we targeted in the Prize Picks show, where we noted that Jimmy Butler's assist rate shot up to like the 30s, and he had only had 3 games in his last 10 of less than 8 assists, I believe, without Kyle Lowry. And a couple of those games were a 15-minute game, a 29-minute game, and then a Magic game where he just didn't get assists. So I'm pretty confident in saying that I'm going to be targeting Jimmy Butler a lot for Prize Picks. For DFS, he's listed at 8,600 on Fanduel. That's insulting, but in this split, even more so, considering the boost in usage, he's going to get 89 on DK. Both those price points can really knock on the door of 50 fantasy points. We put up the on-off court tool. And let's put Butler, Adebayo on the court, and let's take off Kyle Lowry and see what we get. And then, of course, you might open the door for Gabe Vincent, for Tyler Hero as tertiary options to get a little bit of exposure from in big field tournaments. Butler has a 24.5% usage rate this season with Adebayo on the court without Lowry, but a 32% assist rate, almost a 1.2 fantasy point per minute. So that assist rate. So if you guys missed the Prize Pick show, here's what we're talking about. Butler is listed at 6.5 assists there. He was at 6 this morning, according to Josh. In his last 10 games without Lowry, 5, 3, and 5 were his low games. The first 5 came against the Knicks in 29 minutes. That's probably 7 to 8 minutes less than you would expect from him in a competitive game. 3 came in 15 minutes against the Blazers. I'm assuming injury or an ejection. I remember there was some wonky game with the Blazers. A couple of them. One was where Hero got ejected for shoulder checking Nurkic. I feel like one Lowry rolled the ball to the ref, got ejected. I think that was all Portland. So I don't know if that was related to that. And then there was 5 and 35, which, context, that looks like an outlier. So if you're on Prize Picks, I do believe 6.5 assists is probably egregiously too low, considering that this game is giving us a decent total and spread to target, 220 plus total, 4.5 point spread. So Jimmy Butler assists if you're on Prize Picks. If you're not on Prize Picks, make sure you guys get over there, sign up using code GUNDACKER, and they will double your first deposit up to $100. $20 becomes $40. $100 becomes $200. And I do think Jimmy Butler assists would probably be one of my core selections as of now. So go check that out. And don't say I never gave you nothing, in words of the great Dion White from the Discord. Vucevic listed as probable, had a Q tag last night, but now it's a probable tag. So we can expect the Bulls to be full strength, and if they're full strength, we know DeRozan has every ability to get 30-plus real points. And Raj, I believe the magic number is 1 game from tying Michael Jordan's streak of 30 real point games in a row. Jimmy Butler, hey, there's a guy to drop it on.
Hey, that's a guy who might take some pride in stopping that
I don't know.
that initiative.
Yeah, what do you do with this game?
All right, so in this game, DeRozan's going to be interesting here, chasing that record. I think he's going to take enough shots. He's 10-2, so you're definitely paying for it. Even when he hits 30 points, he's mostly getting you in the low 50s. So not running to it against this good defense in Miami with Bam there and Jimmy, but not running away from it because he is chasing history. So I don't mind him. On the Miami side, no Kyle Lowry, so I think that does open up a little bit if you want to get to a guy like Gabe Vincent. Saw 28, 24 minutes past 2 games, 3,600, cheap value, 30 plus is possible here. Hasn't gotten that in a while, but again, 3,600 we need some value, so I don't hate to play. You mentioned Jimmy Butler, 8,900, Bam Adebayo, 88. There's other guys in that price range that I just like, or I'd rather just pay up an extra 1,000 for a John Moran or a couple of these other studs.
Really?
Giannis is in Charlotte.
It's just gonna sell him like that? I don't know, man. Yeah. First of all, this ain't my Batman cup. Bam Adebayo is in a matchup paved in gold right now. Steven Adams, I don't know if you caught that game. Adams racked up 21 rebounds against this Bulls front court. That's curtain calling Clint Capella getting 17 rebounds in 30 minutes. Curtain calling Sabonis getting 12 rebounds. The last 3 games of centers against the Bulls have been Adams 49 fantasy points, DraftKings scoring. Clint Capella 41 in 30 minutes. Sabonis 53. Sabonis is a little different, but Adebayo's nothing to shake a stick at. Then Jakob Poeltl got 29 and 31, and then even Isaiah Roby, got 25 and 25. This is one of the best matchups in all of basketball right now. Is this Bulls front court? Adebayo gets that much more usage without Kyle Lowry. I think you're kind of sleeping on a potential 50 Bomberooski from Bam Adebayo, and Jimmy Butler too, man. He can get me 50. Give me some of that. Where's that catchphrase at? Because this is absolutely a spot where sub 9K Jimmy Butler could flirt with a triple-double if this game lives up to it being a competitive a game against this Bulls team that their defense right now without Lonzo, without Caruso, is essentially can Dosunmu scrap long enough and stay out of foul trouble. I think you're underrating Butler and Adebayo's ceiling outcomes here. And then to I think Doug was asking about value. Looking like Gabe Vincent is one of the stronger value options pre-flop from where we're standing here, right?
Yeah. I mean, I get it with Bam. I mean, centers have been destroyed. Even Bam's a little bit of a run here. I mean, it just seems like Bam's floor, it's so low, even though recently it's been really high, 59, 53, 44, 45.
Hello? So
yeah, I mean, he's getting healthy. I know I guess he's getting healthier. I just remember playing a lot of Bam. He was giving me mid-30s quite often at that price. But, I mean, you make a fair point with Chicago getting destroyed by centers. But also, it's just other studs who I'd rather play. I also think, like, the Raptors, if Van Vliet's questionable, if he gets ruled out, a guy like Siakam, I think will be, I put above both those guys. Obviously, Van Vliet gets ruled out. Love Giannis' spot. You just can't play everyone. So, yeah, could they be tier 3? Have some, sure. But they're definitely not tier 1s or, kind of core plays for me.
So if Jimmy Butler under 9K without, I don't know, man. Here, let's change assist to DKP without Lowry in this StatMuse query. We got 48, 80, 54, 39, 61. So 48 plus in 4 of his last 5 games without Lowry. And this is a 220 total. This ain't the Knicks game, right? This is a Bulls team that can put some points up. I don't know, man. I think he's getting a shot at 50 more than he's not.
I hear you. It becomes interesting. Like, if Van Vliet gets ruled out, what's out there? Like, Siakam versus him. You have Halliburton in Indiana with no Brogdon. That's a similar price tag.
I mean, they're all strong plays, and I guess it's standard deviation. And then, is Jimmy Butler +5 better than Halliburton today? Halliburton back to back. I'm definitely not pushing it back against the validity of Halliburton's being a good play or Siakam if Van Vliet's out, or Siakam just straight up without Anunoby against the Nets team. But Butler has slate breaking potential, and he could lead the slate in fantasy points. Like, I think that's a more than 0% outcome. So I don't know, man.
What about Butler and who would you pick over the other? They're both essentially the same price on DK.
I mean, I think they're not negatively correlated, so I don't know that I put myself in a 1v1 to get between the two. I guess if I had to, Bam might win that one just because other than Sabonis, like, center could be a little bit more flimsy than the forward guard spot today with guys like Morant, Murray, Halliburton. But I don't think it's negatively correlated. I don't think I'm forced to pick between the two. I think they can vibe together, gel together, because both Butler and Adebayo can dish out the rock as well. Adebayo a 20% assist rate versus Butler's 32% assist rate. So I don't need one or the other. Let's get caught up in chat. What up, Patrick? Patrick says, sup, Gun and Raj. Always getting 4 out of 5 on PrizePicks. Frustrating. Guys, Pat. Do the 5-pick flex and then round robin those 5. You should have 10 2-pick power plays and then 5-pick flex. And then if you're consistently getting 4 out of 5, you're going to consistently profit. That's my approach there. And then if you only get 3 out of 5, you'll have a slight loss, but it keeps you afloat. Doug says, Roger, I had that same thought. Butler would be the jerk that motivates himself to keep DeRozan away from the record. Jimmy used to play. Yeah, maybe. What up, Obi-Wan? Hey, guys, if you're out there, you haven't done so yet, hit that thumbs up, man. Like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't as well. We are pushing towards 7K. I will say, Raj, that metrically, when it comes to views, subs, and ad revenue, or just revenue on the channel, period, February has been the best month in the history of the channel. And I think that's a pretty cool thing, but it's even cooler when you think about I missed a whole week of content because of the All-Star break. So March could really do some numbers here as we really only have NBA to focus on, and hopefully baseball. Hopefully. But yeah, just a crazy thing. And also we've I believe Danny just put the link, launching a free Discord for you guys to jump into. Make sure you get in there. Already a bunch of you guys getting in there. I'll open it up on the screen here, looking like this. Shout out to Germs, the Prince, Chris Raptor, C Wiz, Rob Con, Willie Perch, AG, Hunyon Ryu 99. We got a Blue Jays fan in there. Honison Boy 123. You guys get in there. I'll try and get some more mods added, and then I think what I'll do is I'll add a OG role, like first 100, maybe first 200 people to join the Discord will have a special role to kind of show that they were real ones. So go join the Discord, hit that link. It's not the premium Discord, but still going to be a good place to chop shop here outside of the 3 hours that we are live. Jermaine says, quick question, will your projection cover other sites? Would like to experiment with the Australian sites. It depends on what the Australian scoring is. Like the projection is essentially I don't know how to explain it. So like FanDuel and DraftKings have different scoring, right? But FanDuel and Yahoo has the same scoring. FanDuel and PrizePicks have the same scoring. So like if their scoring was similar to that or something easy enough that I could just like write an algorithm for, I could, but I can't. I don't know any of the scoring systems for Australia right now. But I will say that my boy Chronic is moving to Australia for a short period next month. So because that's my boy, if he tells me that there's a site he wants to play on and he would like my projections to be coded for it, I will gladly do it for the homie. So yes, I could do it, but I don't currently know it. But I'll do it. Can we put data like player prices? If they have exportable CSVs, I don't hand type it. If they have downloadable CSVs that I can import and upload every day, then yeah, I don't mind doing it for my boy, but only if they have that, right? What up, Pat? All right, next game on the docket, Raptors at the Nets. Projects 35 for the Raptors. Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent Jr., Scotty Barnes, Pascal Siakam, Kem Birch, up against Patty Mills, Seth Curry, Bruce Brown, James Johnson, and Andre the Giant Drummond. 217 is our total 4-point spread in favor of the Toronto Raptors. Fred VanVleet questionable. He was unlikely to play an hour before tip of that last game. Ended up playing, was a pretty impactful part of that one. So I really have no lean on him being in or out. I think Josh told me that this is a back-to-back. Both teams play again tomorrow, but that one's going to be in Toronto. But like I said, the unlikely to play was night 2 of a back-to-back, and he still went out there and played. So I think that the responsible thing is to kind of project him in and go from there. All these games within an hour. This game's 30 minutes after the slate of self-locks. If VanVleet was out, obviously we would boost our expectations and hopes for Gary Trent, Scotty Barnes, and Siakam. If he did play, hey, AK, we're wrestling with, do we play 40 to 50-plus fantasy point potential Fred VanVleet? I think we could. The Nets tonight, they'll look a little different than they might tomorrow. No Kyrie because of it's a home game. They just stunned the Bucks, I guess, going 12 rounds with them. Andre Drummond had a season high in minutes with the Nets. Will he build off of that, or was that correlated to, hey, Kyrie can carry some offense here, so we don't need LaMarcus Aldridge as much, and we need some size against the lanky lineup of the Bucks. With Patty Mills and Seth Curry as the starters, Andre Drummond's kind of hovered between 22, 24 minutes. So I'm a little bit skittish on what to truly expect from him minute-wise, but per minute, he can definitely be a great fantasy play. And a couple of times since he's joined the Nets, he's offered over 40 fantasy points. So something to watch for there, I think, in 50 to 100 lineups. Like, do a little bit of Drummond on DK and on Fanduel maybe. I do think Sabonis is right now trending towards being my highest owned center. So I don't know if I'm alone in that regard, but I think that's where I'm headed to right now. So guys like Drummond, I don't need to get to especially. Patty Mills and Seth Curry, when we ran that on-off court tool for them without Kyrie so far this season, have been essentially the same play. Similar assist rate, similar shot volume from behind the arc, similar usage rates. So I think you just kind of spin the wheel, make a deal on them. Patty Mills, I don't know, Rods, I don't know if you catch this. Last 2 games of Patty Mills, 1 real point.
Yeah, I mean, he's been on my season-long fantasy teams, so I might miss the playoffs with him in some of these.
I'm truly curious to know if that's like been done before. I'm sure it has, but like 1 real point in back-to-back games, with
he's getting minutes, he's getting, out there. So it's weird, especially for a guy with his talent. I mean, it just seems. I guess he's just been a bit of a rut right now. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes off today. I mean, no Kyrie. With the Raptors, he's going to see the minutes. I guess Goran Dragic definitely takes some of its minutes, maybe. But I think the guy who I really like here, Seth Curry. I think he's definitely a tier 1 play for me. I think he's going to kind of run the show here. 5,900, no Curry, Durant still healthy. I want to be shocked if he takes the most shots here. So I like him. You mentioned Drummond, 6,100. So I think by now we have to realize he's not going to be that 35-minute guy. Even I think 29 minutes in Milwaukee is kind of a high for him. I kind of expect him to play 25, 24-ish minutes on average. So at 6,100, does he have 40-point upside? Sure, but he also has a floor in the mid-20s. So, I mean, he's fine to take a shot in tournaments, but maybe a tier 3, maybe kind of a low tier 2, maybe a 20, 15%er, just to kind of see with some news that comes out. Toronto side, I mean, obviously Van Vliet's a big questionable. He gets ruled out. I love Gary Trent. Love Siakam, love Scotty Barnes, who kind of let everyone down last game after being uber chalk. He's due for a bounce back. So, I mean, I would just love a 3-man Raptor stack if Van Vliet gets ruled out here.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then we know that they are all live to play 37 minutes and go from there. So I wouldn't push back on that. But I also, I think you're too attached to the Van Vliet getting ruled out idea, man.
I mean, it's back-to-back. He did play yesterday.
No, it's not. Tomorrow is night 2 of a back-to-back.
Yeah.
The last back-to-back, he was unlikely to play and played and kind of balled out. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if he literally plays through a doubtful tag, I just can't project him out. So, like, if you want to sit around for that news, the game's early enough that you probably get it. But I think this far out, your dream is a wish your heart makes, and I think you're dreaming that Van Vliet will be out, and he could be, but right now he's not. So if he's not, or if he is, we do get to wrestle with the thought of Boucher, Achua, Thad Young, Kem Birch. All those guys are in okay spots. Who thrives in the most minutes to add to the value hunt?
Or sorry, not Kem Birch. Precious Achua tier 1 here. He's 3,600 on DK. He saw 30 minutes against Atlanta. I see 30 minutes against Brooklyn. I think he's good for a 30 spot.
Let's see. Let's put some context to those minutes. The Atlanta game was a blowout. So Chua. Let's see. Chua. Crash.
There's no OG.
Chua played a lot of the fourth quarter. He was involved in the rotation for what it's worth. Didn't play immediate backup center. So I do think he's involved enough that he's in play. But maybe he benefited from a few extra minutes in the fourth quarter. Yeah. But tier 1, no. Usable value, sure. 3,600 on DK is definitely cheap enough. Is he center only? Precious. Do we want to give up the center only spot for him? I think today's a little bit more. Today you could do it a little bit more. But I do like Sabonis. He's center only. And I do like Adebayo. So there's some thought behind it, but I do think he's a solid value play from where we're sitting here, right? Top says he could sit the front end, bro. I get that, Top, and he plays against the Nets again tomorrow. But what I'm saying is, we have no reason to believe that more than we did on Saturday, right? Saturday he was literally unlikely to play a night two of a back-to-back. So, and he played through it and he played fine. So I'm saying I respect the Q tag here, and he's been dealing with this knee injury that he said that he wasn't where he wanted to be in terms of recovery. But this isn't a trustworthy spot, and this isn't a spot where I want to get too attached to lineups and exposures of what I would have if he's out. Meaning, obviously, if Van Vliet's out, I'm going to have a ton more Gary Trent, maybe some more Scotty Barnes, some more Siakam. But there's no reason to think he's more out than in based on what we've seen so far. This is all I'm trying to say. Why everyone like Markkanen? Markkanen's been pretty solid since coming back without Darius Garland, 20-plus real points. He's shooting pretty efficient. 6K, give you a shot at 30-plus. I don't think he's like a terrible player. I don't think he's a must-have tournament winner play, but I think he's fine. I think a lot of the buzz on him was for some of his PrizePicks props. Let's move on to the next game here. Bucks hosting the Charlotte Hornets. Project starting 5 for the Hornets. LaMelo Ball, Terry Rozier, Miles Bridges, P.J. Washington, Mason Plumlee taking on Drew Holiday, Grayson Allen, Chris Middleton, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Bobby Portis, 238.5. Our total 10.5 point spread for the home team, Milwaukee Bucks. Hornets on a skid, man. They're losing a lot of games, and hey, uphill battles, what we call this one. The defending world champions coming off that slugfest with the Brooklyn Nets. 10-point spread here, giving the Bucks the opportunity to sit on the low end of the seesaw, and giving us an opportunity to guess which Hornets will be more viable than the others. LaMelo Ball at 8,300 on FanDuel. I'm going to get to that pretty liberally, I would imagine. I got a 50 fantasy point projection there. Expect this game to be fast-paced. Expect the Hornets to play from behind. So if LaMelo Ball can stay out of foul trouble and stay out of doing dumb stuff, I think he should get plenty of run here. And then we start kind of divvying up who does what. And I think the process with targeting the Bucks has been who's the best three-point shooter, who's the highest volume three-point shooter. I think about, the Charlotte Hornets here. They're going to chuck plenty of threes here. But I'm looking at Terry Rozier. I'm looking at Kelly Oubre. And I think Rozier is the guy that I lean to a lot bit more rather. So I'm kind of looking his way for potential ceiling outcome. I don't know that he's going to pick up a lot of steam at this price point. So I don't have to get to a ton of equity in terms of exposure to him. But 20-plus shot attempts is not an outlandish expectation if this game stays close enough long enough. And you might expect 10-plus threes from behind the arc. In 3 games against the Bucks this season, he's averaging 42 DraftKings fantasy points. 27 threes has hit at a 40% clip. So good little indication that that might be the plan going forward into this game. And then we have seen them move P.J. Washington into the starting lineup, and Miles Bridges playing a little bit more 3. And then Mason Plumlee, we discovered in yesterday's game, losing some minutes here in a game that you might need more offense than defense. If you're trailing from 10, you might get more Montrezl Harrell, who has been playing pretty solid shot at 24 minutes. So I think PJ's a curious click. I'm not that curious, but he's a curious click. But I do think the Hornets are one of those teams that I will have to set some player group correlations in Fantasy Cruncher, meaning probably don't want 2 of 3 or 3 of 3 when it comes to Ball, Rozier, Bridges, and Oubre or something like that, and just kind of divvy it from there. Raj, what do you do with this game? The largest spread, but also the highest total. So there's some implied points to be had. And Milwaukee, the lazy approach is, I don't want Giannis in a blowout. Well, Giannis has gotten there in blowouts, and Giannis has kept his foot on teams' throats, especially in home games in the fourth quarter, to maybe complete some stat lines here and keep his value in the MVP race high. Giannis has triple-double potential. I do think we've kind of talked about a lack of obvious value. We got a couple of pieces, maybe Achua, maybe Gabe Vincent, somebody like that. But as an 11.5, 12K player, this slate's given us a lot of opportunities of 7, 8Ks with the Halliburtons, the Butlers, the Adebayos, the Hill to an extent. We got DeJounte Murray. SGA is probably going to be the highest home player on the slate. There's so much 8 to 9K guys that are in massive spots that maybe the lack of value parlayed with the upside at 8, 9K. Maybe people leave a Giannis 80 fantasy point game on the table.
I mean, I love Giannis here, tier one. I think he has a floor of 60 in this spot. I would project him for 60 fantasy points here. I know projection probably having around like 57, 56 anyways, but I'll just jump up right to 60. You mentioned the 80-point upside. Give me all the Giannis here. I mean, 12K, that's fine. Even when, playing at 12K, you still have 5,400. Plenty of mid-tier guys. You can still play with it. It's Charlotte. Don't get cute. You play guys against Charlotte. Don't avoid it. Guys like I think Middleton, Drew Holiday, not running to play them, but maybe tier 3 I'd have them in the pool. I don't want to fade those guys because I think they also have 40 to 50 point upside here. It ends up being a 4-quarter competitive game. And the Charlotte side, LaMelo definitely intriguing, 9,100. Just shot poorly. He shot 6 for 24 against Detroit and got 41 fantasy points. But I like the fact he took 24 shots because the peripherals will always be there. If that shot's falling, he just has massive upside. So I like LaMelo at 9,100.
Yeah, Giannis in 3 games against the Hornets has averaged 65 DraftKings fantasy points. The way averages work, there's probably a 70 bomb in there and probably a 60 bomb in there. Let's pull this up. That's Antetokounmpo DKP by game log versus Charlotte Hornets last 10 games. You ever wonder if you do something better than anyone else on the planet, Raj? Like just one thing. Just one random thing. For me, I wonder if there's anyone else that types Giannis Antetokounmpo as fast as I do. I just wondered that. 57 fantasy points in that last game, 70 the game prior, 69 the game prior. So that's what I'm saying. If he gets 70 fantasy points, now that doesn't mean he's an instant optimal, but there's a really good chance that he is. Just because raw points are raw points. But I think this slate's a little bit different because there is a lot of 50, 60 fantasy point potential, at least outcomes in DeJounte, in SGA, in Jimmy Butler, in Halliburton, and so on and so forth. That, this 12K Giannis might need us to get 70, but you spin this simulation, as they say, a couple hundred times. There's definitely outcomes where 70 fantasy points of Giannis wins you 100K tonight, especially if he comes in under 20% owned. It just make you a little bit different. So I do like looking his way. Bobby Portis coming off an incredible game in terms of shooting from behind the arc. I think he hit 8 threes in that last game. Under 7K, looking for 40 plus fantasy points there. And then the rest of the Bucks here, right? Unremarkable. Is the word I would probably put on Drew Holiday, right? I got him for 40 plus, need the 40 plus here. Same with Middleton. I think that the Hornets podium is the tough task here, because if we're gonna lean on some Giannis here, I want to lean on somebody to somewhat keep this game within 20 here. And the Hornets have just been on the struggle bus, so I'm worried about that. But I think Rozier's the guy I'm kind of hedging to keep it close, and even his fantasy or his fantasy price isn't like great, so I might be leaning on him a little bit more for price picks, and I think they had him at 19.5 real points, so might be looking that way. But this is going to be their third game in 4 nights, night 2 of a back-to-back against the world champs after losing to the Detroit Pistons and getting smoked by the Raptors. And like I said, they've been losing more than they've been winning, so uphill battle to say the least. Plenty of reason to be pessimistic about the Hornets. And I do wonder if there's let's say you ran 20 lineups tonight, Raj. There's a good chance you get to know Hornets, right?
20 lineups, no Hornets. Yeah, I mean, I guess the way they're priced, I think it's fine with other guys on the slate. But I mean, no Hornets in this spot. If I have a lot of Giannis, I know you don't have to technically bring it back in basketball, but I do like having a player from the opposite team when I have so much of one person. I mean, Terry Rozier at 7,900, he might be the best points per dollar play, because I think for this game to stay close, he needs that 30 real life points. And I think with Drew Holiday most likely to guard LaMelo, Terry has an easier matchup too.
Maybe. Maybe. Pat says, what do you think of Russell under over 20.5? Real points, D'Angelo Russell. I think the T Wolves with their big three, I tend to stay away from them from a PrizePicks standpoint. I just don't get to them as far as betting individual props.
I play them when one of those guys are out.
I think he's asking for PrizePicks. Like
PrizePicks.
Like I can diversify in DFS and play ranges of outcomes. A lot harder to accomplish that on PrizePicks. So that wasn't something I had, Pat. Not something I had. EDC says, any love for Kevin Love? Little revenge narrative going against Minnesota. Man, EDC, Kevin Love has not eclipsed 20 minutes since the All-Star break. And it seems like we can correlate that to the return of Lauri Markkanen. So I don't think I'm going to get to Kevin Love today, and it's simply because I don't feel great about his minute projection based on what we've seen so far. And I've talked about the irony behind that because he had some steam. He had a case for Sixth Man of the Year conversation. And if it trends this way, if it goes on this trajectory of minutes, that probably is going to diminish pretty soon, right? LaMelo's killed him twice with Drew. Yeah, I don't really sweat Drew on a guy like really anyone, but LaMelo is one of those multifaceted 5-tool players where you don't need him to have 30 real points. You can get you rebounds, assists, stuff like that. 3 games against the Bucks, he's averaging 47. Unremarkable as well. But I guess if we flip the LaMelo here, LaMelo Ball, DKP by game log versus Bucks last 10 games, really last 3. He's contributed 33, 44, and 64, and 53. So wide range of outcomes. You really want the back end of this. He dropped 64 in 41 minutes. Again, game 3 and 4 nights, back to back, big time dogs. So you might get some towels being thrown in if things got out of control for the Hornets side, so they can regroup and get back to Charlotte. Kings at the Oklahoma City Thunder. Project starting 5 for the Kings. De'Aaron Fox, Justin Holiday, Harrison Barnes, Mo. How could you be so heartless up against SGA? Trey Mann, Aaron Wiggins, Darius Baisley, and Derek Favors. Assuming Favors is playing this game and not Isaiah Roby, but it could go the other way. I need to fix this curtain, man. The sun's starting to bleed through. 65 degrees, man. It was literally freezing the last 2 days. Texas, gonna be Texas. Hey, the Thunder are going to be without Josh Giddey, without Lou Dort, on top of no Jerome, no Muscala, no JRE, no Kenrich Williams. So Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he'll have more usage than the block button in Raj's DMs. Okay.
Hey, talk about it.
Blocking you because
I thought I was blocking them.
No, I mean, unless I don't know. I was going. I don't know. I was going that they were blocking you. That was the joke. Maybe the execution could have been better. I don't know, man. SGA, he's 9,600 on both Fanduel and DraftKings. Looking for the north side of 50 fantasy points. I think at this 9K, we're not just looking for north side of 50 fantasy points. We're looking for him to be kind of like the best play in his class. And I would imagine he comes with the highest ownership in this area, just knowing that the Kings are bottom 2 in defensive efficiency, and his usage is going to be through the roof. You look at this guard class at sub 10K. We've got John Morant in a big total against San Antonio. San Antonio's been part of some shootouts. We got SGA. We got LaMelo Ball. We talked about him being able to drop 60+. We get a little bit cheaper, over $1,000 cheaper. We got Tyrese Halliburton has upside. De'Aaron Fox. So I do think we need a little bit more than just 50+ from SGA to feel like he's going to be the best play at that price point. Just multiple ways to skin a cat. However, we can't argue with the metrics. We can't argue with the numbers and or the matchup. And if we pull up that on-off court tool here for Oklahoma. We ran this on the PrizePicks stream before this. If you guys haven't been checking out those PrizePicks shows, it's an hour before this show, so it's 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central. Myself, Josh, and sometimes a guest. I'm hoping to get some more guest co-hosts this week for that prop show as well. It's been part of the daily content menu for a couple weeks now, over a month, and starting to take off. And we're starting to see other outlets also offer more prop content because PrizePicks is taking over. So be sure you sign up for PrizePicks and you use code Gundecker when you do so. SGA on the court. Let's take off Giddy. Let's take off Lou Dort. SGA is going to be pushing 30+% usage and 30+% assist rate. So we're going to like a lot of SGA everything. And like I said, I think this is going to be one of those aggressive ownership spots for him against this Kings defense that's just been bleeding fantasy points. I mean, Monte Morris was able to have back-to-back 30-plus fantasy point games, almost 1.5 fantasy points per minute for SGA in 200-plus minutes of the split, with a 33% assist rate and a 39% usage rate. For me, the magic number is 30, Raj. Now we're talking 40. SGA, I think he's got a date with being a tier 1 play for me in 20 lineups. Thinking the field might be at around at least 40%. What do you want at SGA? Is it all or nothing? Is it 1.5x? Would you take 70% to the dance and hope you get to second base? Or what are you doing with SGA exposures tonight?
70% seems aggressive just because he is 9,600. So like him versus John Morant, straight 1v1. I think I still like John Morant more. So yeah, I might just match the field. Might be a cop out of match field. 40% seems like a good number to me. It's a great spot for him, 56 point upside, but you are paying for it. My favorite Thunder is Trey Mann. Trey Mann, 5,400 against the Sacramento team. He's going to chuck the shots with no Lou Dort and no Giddy here. So I think that this is a 40 kind of fantasy spot for him. 20-plus real-life points. Going to get you some assists. Going to get you a couple of rebounds, some steals. At 5,400, points per dollar, he's my favorite guy in this game. So give me all the Trey Mann here. He's a guy I might go 70% on at 5,400. Really like, probably my favorite 5K guy on the slate. Baisley, I think, is interesting. 6,200. He's been playing a ton of minutes, getting a lot of usage. I think it's double-double spot for him against Sabonis in that front court in Sacramento. So don't mind that at 6,200. The Sacramento side, I think it's Fox and Sabonis for me. This one's Sabonis. I think he was Indiana. Everyone was out. He dropped 71 fantasy points on him. So he definitely has the upside. Easy matchup against OKC, 9,500. So I like him. Great spot for him. He probably has a floor of 45 to 50 here. And Fox here too, 8,500. Can't go wrong with that either.
Yeah, I think the Trey Mann price difference between Fanduel and DK, he's 7,200 on Fanduel, with just 54 in DK. I definitely agree with you. It feels like it's not going to be SJ all by himself. I've been finding myself playing copious amounts of Darius Baisley, and I think he's a strong option per minute considering this Kings defense. But yes, Trey Mann has double-digit shot attempts likely coming in his future, with a couple of peripherals to boot. 30-plus fantasy points in 4 straight games, introducing the second worst defense in basketball, and it did not get any better with the trade. So I like that. I think you're going to find me in these streets with SJ, Trey Mann, Darius Baisley a lot, and I don't think I'm going to set any wedges between them. And this is more from a DraftKings point of view because the price points on DK for Trey Mann and Baisley a little bit more warm than the FanDuel counterpart. And then on the Kings side, Sabonis. I think Sabonis has a shot at leading the slate in fantasy points as well, just straight up. We've seen him a couple games ago. He went blow for blow with Nikola Jokic, 60-plus fantasy points. If Sabonis gets you within 5-6 fantasy points of the highest scorer on the slate, which is probably going to projection-wise be Giannis Antetokounmpo, he has every bit of being truly the optimal punch here. And all year long, centers against the Oklahoma City Thunder have certainly been one of the more lucrative spots that you can get to. They allow a lot of those defensive peripherals that we love for FanDuel and PrizePicks scoring as well. I think they're tied for the most blocks per game allowed. So I like that. De'Aaron Fox came out there and showed us double-digit assist potential. That was good to see. I still think at 8.4, 8.5, I'm looking for 20 to 30 real points to expect a big game out of him. But maybe those assists start trending in the right direction. And then Harrison Barnes, kind of around that Larry Markkinen price and feeling where I'm just expecting 30, modest expectation, modest projection for a modest price point, modest carpentry skills.
I think
So
Fox and Sabonis versus Jimmy and Bam is a very interesting 2v2.
yeah, I think Butler's always going to be safer than Fox, especially in this
Yeah.
split, just because of his floor with peripherals. But Bam versus Sabonis, I think it's yeah. I think I want Butler Sabonis.
Yeah, so I was saying, yeah, I was going to say
Just split
Sabonis is a
it
little better
directly
than
in half.
Bam, and yeah, Jimmy's a little better than Fox in the spot.
Yeah. All right, chat. We have one game left on the docket, and we're all about setting goals or setting records and meeting goals. So here's a couple of them. Right. First of all, we go to Twitter. Click profile. My profile. Raj, I'm 6 clicks away from 3,000 followers. I don't really, I just like round numbers and milestones. So if 6 of you guys out there on Twitter you want to follow me, you can mute me if you want. When the Yankees come around, I'm going to be basically sweating play-by-play for them, and you don't want to see that. But if you want to follow me, show some love there. We do tweet out when I go live or when I'm playing on Twitch, or just general thoughts. I'd appreciate a follow there. And then also, man, I think we've peaked on the channel in terms of concurrent views and potential likes in a stream. The 189 like goal, or not goal, but 189 live likes. I think that's the one record that I think we have a shot at breaking for the rest of the year.
So, yeah,
I don't think we're going to get 327 views again because Osmo started doing a prop show before their main show as well. So I think the 327 came like that 30-minute gap, but I kind of lost that gap. So I don't think we're going to break 320 again, but I do think 200 likes on a live stream is doable. Right now we only got 48 of them. So if you guys want to be great,
that like triple it up quick. Get to 120. Get to 120.
Do it. And then, of course, if you guys want to hang out with me after the stream, I'm going to be in the RunDFS.com VIP Discord, the VIP voice chat. Go to RunDFS.com, click VIP memberships, find something that you want to give a shot. Try out a week pass. What's the worst that can happen? Every membership comes with a built-in credit towards a Fantasy Cruncher optimizer subscription. And then, of course, you get access to the RunDFS.com spreadsheet, the prop detector, my projections. And then I've added this thing where I used to have a player pool where I just tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. But now I literally list my exposure levels to the players. And I thought that was a little bit more actionable than maybe the tiering system was. I don't know. I'm getting mixed reviews on that. So we'll let this play out a little bit more. But, it's easy to say SGA is a tier 1 and there's a lock for me. But getting to 80% of a 9-10K guy is a little bit harder when you actually try to put it in practice because sometimes it involves more PJ Tucker than you would want, So, yeah, if you guys have been curious about that, go to RunDFS.com, get that going. And then today, I promised it on Saturday, we're launching a free Discord for you guys in the YouTube community that are always balling out in chat. And you don't have time for another DFS membership. Here's a free Discord. I'll definitely be in there as much as I can. And I'll try to add some mods to it, add some fun stuff, some fun incentives, giveaways, stuff like that for you guys to join. Already, several of you guys have jumped in here. And since the last set of shout-outs, X Hustle, J Smooth, Ducking 3, Obi-Wan, Patrick, J3 Row, Quan, Nate, and Buckeye Gary. That's a cool name. Have joined in here. We've added NBA chat. Also, there's going to be members only chats. So those of you guys that are members of this channel, make sure to link your YouTube account with your Discord account, and this will unlock these YouTube member only stuff. And I'll definitely be in there as much as possible. And share the fire, man. Make this a good vibe community. Leave all that toxic I make more money than you bull crap for the other Discords. We just vibing out, trying to be great. So main event tonight, San Antonio Spurs, Memphis Grizzlies. We got a project 35 of the Spurs. DeJounte Murray, Devin Vassell, Dougie McBuckets, Keldon Johnson, and Jakob Poeltl. Am I not Poeltl enough for the Poeltl Club? Taking on Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, Zion Williams, Jiren Jackson Jr., and Stone Cold Steven Adams. Gonna get you one board. What? 2 board. If I did that bit for the Chicago game, good God, I had no voice. Right? 237.5 total, 8.5 points spread favor of the Memphis Grizzlies. Spurs have been part of some shootouts with and without their starters. Defensively, though, much area of opportunity to improve. Ja Morant without without Dillon Brooks. Big usage, big minutes, big real points. 27 real points a game on the season now. So if you're going to give the Memphis Grizzlies over 120 implied points, you probably expect Ja Morant to be part of 20, 30, maybe even 40 of those. So we're going to be looking at him to gain some traction. Brandon Clark has a questionable tag on him. If he can't go, we might get more minutes than you typically projected for Steven Adams. And Steven Adams coming off one of his better DFS games in his career where he had 872 rebounds. It was pretty incredible. Dennis Rodman showed up at the end and congratulated him. 21 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 blocks, 12 real points for a 50 bomb. Like I said, if we can go from 20-minute projection to 30 plus, we've seen 35, 36, 32 from him against San Antonio, who on the season have been pretty porous when it comes to fantasy points allowed to opposing centers on the season. If we reference that team DVP chart in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet, they've allowed the 4th most fantasy points per game to opposing centers. And if we look at that team metrics chart in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet and look at points in the paint allowed per game, well, guess what? San Antonio Spurs have allowed the 3rd most points in the paint. So we're not looking at Adams to pick up a lot of points, but there should be very little resistance. And then keeping that points in the paint metric in mind, Ja Morant drives to the rack and scores in the paint more than really anyone else in the league. So it's a plus spot for him. Positive correlation, maybe throwing with his big rods. Where do you start from this game? There's a lot to love here, a lot of upside. DeJounte on the Spurs, obviously. But Ja, Steven Adams looking pretty good as maybe a 1-2 punch. And then, hey, if you take some shots on Desmond Bane, Jiren Jackson, I won't tell you no.
Yeah, I mean, the San Antonio defense is really a defense to target, I think, for the rest of the year. Just giving up a ton of points here. Gave away their best defender, Derek White, the trade deadline. So if the team want to attack, love Ja Morant here. 9,700. I mean, I think he's right up there with him and Sabonis, best player under 10K. I love it here. I think I probably like him more than SGA here in this spot. So give me all the Ja Morant against San Antonio here. 50, that could be 40 to 50 real life points. So love that. Brandon Clark is questionable.
Mm-hmm.
So if he gets ruled out, I think a guy like Kyle Anderson becomes interesting value at 3,800. Should see when Brandon Clark got hurt, he played 29 minutes last game. So I can see him playing some of those backup minutes. If he's mid-20s at 3,800, he could be a 30 spot. Just gives you a little bit of everything. Jiren Jackson Jr. 6,700. It's like a cheap price tag for him. He definitely has a floor in the 20s, but has upside for 40, 45. And at 6,700, you'll take that all day, every day. And in San Antonio, I think it's just DeJounte Murray for me. You're definitely paying for him 10-6. So with that, I mean, you might have to give up a Giannis. Playing him and Giannis with the value today just might not be possible to make optimal lineup. So I think that's the one thing kind of holding him back. But other than that, I mean, he's a great play. DeJounte Murray, he's killing it.
Yeah, he's just been nuts. Really, last 2 years, he's been my Cinderella. But now that they've moved on from Derek White, he's certainly overtaken a new role here, and is very reminiscent of old Westbrook numbers from OKC days, where they were just fast-paced, no defense, and he was out here flirting with triple doubles every time he touched the court. One of the numbers we saw on him, I think he was at 9.5 assists on PrizePicks. That was one of the more intriguing options here. But yeah, plenty of target on this slate. I think it's a fun slate. Chad, to recap it, all games within 1 hour, and several good games. Right, this isn't one of those Utah and Miami, New York Knicks slates. Right, you're getting several games with some upside, and should be fun to target. And maybe it's gonna result in a higher scoring slate, but at least the quality of hopefully real life basketball will be above average. 2 games at lock, 2 games at 7:30, and then 2 games as your late, or 3 games as your late night hammer. So I'm going to be pretty excited to be done early, and maybe I can get a head start on tomorrow's slate here. So chat, it is really early. Like, we finished way ahead of time. So if you guys got any questions, comments, concerns, throw them at us. earlier, if you guys missed the Prize Pick show, there was a couple of props we were pretty privy to. Larry Markkinen, I'll talk about three of them. Larry Markkinen, real points, they have him at 15.5. He's eclipsed 20 plus 3 of his last 4. His last 2 without Darius Garland, a little bit more 1-to-1 to what he's dealing with today. The T-Wolves have been a faster paced team with some defensive inequities. Beverly and then Vanderbilt, okay defenders, but they will probably not be on Larry Markkinen. Halliburton assist. This was a number that I really liked, or I was privy to before Brogdon got ruled out, and they didn't change it. It's still at 8.5. And if that game is going to live up to its total, where both teams have 115 plus implied points, Halliburton might play 37 minutes, and if he's going to have such a high assist rate, I definitely like his propensity to hit. And then Jimmy Butler's assist would probably be the third one I lean on. It's at 6.5. He has gotten you over 8 assists in 7 of his last 10. One of those games being a 15-minute game, and one of those games being 28 minutes. There's only one true outlier there. If you expect 35, 36 minutes of them in a competitive game, it was like a 4-point spread. I think 6.5 is a really soft line without Kyle Lowry. So those would probably be 3 that I lean with. Josh is going to keep tabs on all the picks that the sharper prop hunters are on in the RunDFS.com prop detector. So be sure to check that out behind the paywall at RunDFS.com. Mr. Torrance says, y'all making it so hard. Can you rank these in order of favorite? Jimmy Butler, Sabonis, Murray, Halliburton. So typically,
Murray for sure. If price doesn't matter.
I disagree. I think for me, a Sabonis one.
You think really? You're gonna take just raw points? You take Sabonis over Murray?
Fantasy points? Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yes. I do like Murray. I think Murray would definitely be top 2 there. But man, Sabonis against the Thunder, dog. Like this is a matchup of dreams. He's given us 50 plus 3 games straight. He's getting plenty of minutes. It's the Thunder. Revenge, F it. It'll throw all kinds of obscure reasons to like Domantas Sabonis against the Thunder. The Thunder on the season, I mentioned it earlier, have been super bad against opposing bigs in terms of fantasy points allowed, and then Sabonis is just that good. 3rd most fantasy points per game to opposing bigs. So big spot for Sabonis. Whereas DeJounte Murray, I think he's strong for 50, 60 fantasy points as well, but he needs it. He's more expensive than Sabonis. Got him beat by almost over $1,000 on DraftKings. So I think they score closer to the same more than they don't. So I'll take the cheaper option. But I do like DeJounte Murray. But in terms of just ranking them, I think Sabonis won because I think Sabonis is a little bit safer, a little bit for centers. And then I probably put Butler a little bit above Halliburton. Again, a little price discount there, but all 4 of those are really solid. If I could end up with a lineup that had Butler, Sabonis, Murray, and Halliburton, I feel like I'd be all right. But I also feel like it's kind of crazy you don't have SGA in that list there, Tarn, because SGA is in a massive spot. 40% usage rate against the 2nd worst defense. We've seen him drop 60 plus. So yeah. Matt says, how would you build a 20 max tournament player pool? I would start with identifying my favorite plays on the slate, and I would try to get at least 50% of those guys. Obviously, you're not going to have 50% of 8, or you can't have them all in the same lineup. So you just kind of trust the randomness, trust the standard deviation on whatever optimizer you use to achieve the right combo. But I probably try and find a core of players, hopefully between 4 and 6 on this slate, and work from there. You're more than likely going to need to hunt out more value to really stick to your core today, because there's a lot of 8, 9, 10K goodness. So you might have elevated amounts of uncomfortable guys. Maybe Gabe Vincent's a guy that's going to lead the core value. Matter of fact, what do I got on player projections for value? I want to say guys like Gabe Vincent and I don't know what you got. Oh snap! We got lunch. Oh, you want to say hi? In terms of value plays on DK, guys, it's Danny. Gabe Vincent, Aaron Wiggins. I'm not as excited to play because I've been loading up on Wiggins because he's always projecting for big minutes. Again, it's going to be hard to completely dismiss him because 30-plus potential minutes against one of the worst defenses in the game at $3,600. Hard to walk away from, but he does have a potential for 13, 15, 17 fantasy points, so we kind of have to be responsible with that, but the projection is always going to look well because of the matchup. And then depending on some of this other news, some of this other news with like Fred VanVleet might open up some more minutes between the big forwards and the big center spots. Jalen Smith I have for a decent chunk of minutes at under 5K. Dragic without Kyrie, is that crazy?
It's intriguing. I'm just worried about the minutes. Like, he hasn't played in a couple months. First game he played 14 minutes. I just don't see him playing that 30 minutes. So I just think it's
he played
24.
14 minutes. So maybe 14 to 20 minutes. There might be starts in it, but per minute his production might be all right. Wouldn't that be something if he if he dropped like a 30 on Toronto after like not playing?
I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah. So yeah, right now value is a little harder to come by to put action behind our love for SGAs, for the Halliburtons. I don't think we're going to be able to get to aggressive amounts of all those guys all together. But in 20 lineups, my general approach really in 100 lineups, 150 lineups is have a core of players that you want to live and die by. Gun, thanks for all you do. What's up, Jenna? Which do you like, Bamba, Man, or Mills and Adams? I'm assuming that's Trey Man or Mo Bamba, Patty Mills and Adams. Oof, that's so close. I think the projection is pretty close on that as well. So Bamba got into a little bit of trouble that last outing. It is the Indiana front court. Yeah, I typically can get point per minute out of Mo Bamba. So if I take this 25 from him, I'm expecting 30 plus out of Man. So I probably get 55 to 60 fantasy points. That's the expectation there from Bamba and Man. Mills is extremely volatile. Patty Mills could drop 30. He also could fall behind Seth Curry and Cam Thomas. So I think that combo is a little bit more scoring dependent. And then Adams, I do like Adams quite a bit, but I guess Bamba and Man would be the gun to my head, but that's a good one. Do you like Jeremy Lamb tonight? 3,800 on DraftKings. Jeremy spoken.
Again, it's just the value. I mean, we just have to rotate all these guys in because there's no lock and load value play that we're in love with. So I think he's viable.
20 and 29 minutes. All right, let's put a little context to the 29. So it was let's see, who would possibly been out? Davion. Against the Kings and Nuggets game last time, Jeremy Lamb saw 29 minutes, a little more than we usually get out of him. What was the difference maker? Davion Mitchell 11 minutes, Dante DiVincenzo 17 minutes, versus the game prior where he got just 20. I don't know if I can explain the instant spike here. It looks like Justin Holiday lost a lot of minutes in the second quarter. I guess he got in foul trouble, and then Jeremy Lamb was able to play the entire second quarter, and then played a smaller ball lineup over Mo Harkless in the fourth quarter. I mean, if they think they found success in that lineup, I guess it's not crazy. But let me see. Justin Holiday fouls. Just one foul. So he wasn't even a foul. He just got minutes there. Maybe they're exploring different lineups here. So, I guess I would throw that in the wash spin cycle for tournaments and just kind of see what happens. But I think there's still a lot of volatility in it because you could see Dante DiVincenzo. You could see Justin Holiday get more minutes. Brandon says you guys on Drummond only in DFS big field tournaments and like back into the player pool. Like I don't think I would get there on PrizePicks tonight just because you really don't know what to expect from him minute wise. 22 to 24 is probably the more likely outcome if they sell out for offense and they need like Aldridge a little bit more. Would you play Brissett or Scotty Barnes right now? Probably Brissett if we lost Van Vliet, I would revisit that and maybe land on Barnes a little bit more. But right now, probably Brissett. Dragic hated the Raptors. Yeah, Barrick. That's what I think. It would be kind of ironic, but in a funny way, to see Dragic have a good game against Toronto. Fish says, listening on the drive home. F. Raj and LeBron, though.
Go, James. Haters gonna hate. What you gonna do?
Chat, I got time to put Raj on blast.
Got nothing to put me on blast.
Raj,
I stay educated.
Raj is he's obviously from Canada. He's
No doubt.
self-proclaimed Raptors fan, but he's also he's a flat earther. He's a LeBron James GOAT all-time guy. My boy Raj, my boy Raj wanted to custom order a Raptors jersey and write LeBronto on the back.
It's coming in.
And he wants to. You already ordered it?
It's coming in. Yep. Coming in.
Chat. Come on.
Like, you got to make that.
I'm not crazy, right? I
love the Raptors and LeBron the GOAT. So when you got to show love to both.
No, you don't. That's blasphemy, bro. Like
how we.
It's if you put Ortiz on a Yankees jersey.
I'm not putting Ortiz though. It's LeBron Toe, not LeBron.
You're essentially saying he owns your city, but you're.
I mean, he did for those couple years, for half a decade. It seems like. I'm just showing.
So they
love
just wear a LeBron jersey.
Nah, I feel like the Toronto LeBron.
But the fakest thing. This is the fakest thing.
Showing love to Toronto.
I need my Canadians out here.
I'll wear the jersey once it comes in. I'll wear the jersey. I just messaged them to make sure the E is lowercase, because in the site it wouldn't let me, so I'm just waiting for their response.
That's despicable. Like, I'm ashamed for Raptors fans.
You know what? One day I'll send you a Boston jersey with Jeter on the back as a gift.
I mean, but that's disrespectful to Boston. I mean, I was
Jeter too, yeah.
but like, I don't know. That's so weird. That's so weird to me. It'd be like putting Altuve on a Yankees jersey, right? Like, no. Like, yeah, Chad.
There's certain rules you can break for the GOAT. Obviously, those guys aren't the GOAT of their sport, so with LeBron, he's one the GOAT, the greatest of all time.
How many Utah Jazz Jordan jerseys are out there?
How many? But Jordan ain't the GOAT.
That's
what I'm saying. It's only allowed for GOATs. Very select few athletes. You got Tiger Woods. He's allowed to do that. Want to do that? LeBron, you're allowed to do that. With Wayne Gretzky, you're allowed to do that. I mean, it's not a long list of individuals you can do this to.
Okay, well,
not even Brady. The baseball out there too. It's just
anyway, chat. I need all of the Raj hate in the brand new Gundacker Gaming Discord. Link in the chat. Couple more of you guys have jumped in there. Shout out to you guys. Let's see, Gundacker Gaming up here. I had an old one, but it was more for the Twitch. Lynch G22 Cool Cag has jumped in there. Shout out to you guys. Again, I'm gonna be looking for some mods, add some more roles. We'll have some more fun with that. But yeah, Raj is insane. We'll be back tomorrow. What's tomorrow looking like? NBA schedule for Manana. Kind of dad humorous Raj LeBronto. I mean, that's what they were calling it when LeBron was just knocking the Raptors out of the playoffs every freaking year.
What he was doing.
But that's why it's disrespectful, because he's basically saying, I'm a fan of this team, but this guy owns my team. Like, no. You don't. That's disgraceful. 6 games tomorrow, so look for the PrizePicks stream 2 p.m. Eastern, the DFS stream 3 p.m. Eastern, and a lot of sizable slates this week. So I think we're gonna have fun, make a lot of money, and move on for it. Fish says Tiger's not the GOAT. Jack, okay. LBJ's the GOAT. Best joke I've heard today, Raj. Here we go.
Yep, LeBron to go. A lot of confused souls out there, guys. I'm willing to educate y'all. It's okay. I get free, knowledgeable advice. You don't even have to pay for it. Y'all live in a blessed world.
Keith says, getting like Drummond tonight. I think I'll take a couple shares of him in tournaments tonight. Nothing on PrizePicks, nothing in single entry cash game, something like that. Like I said, without Kyrie on the court to carry the offense, I do think the volatility of him being out there is a little bit higher, because they might need Aldridge for offense a little bit more. But 6K, he definitely has 40 plus fantasy point potential, but he also has like 25 fantasy point potential. 25 will cripple you, 40 plus will put you in a good spot. Any love for OKK Gun? OKK did benefit from a lot of fouls in that last game. It does look like he's probably going to be second or third on team in bench minutes, but I don't think there's a reason for me especially to be there more than anything, just because you can't project fouls, right? You can, but we don't like to. Like Michael Jordan, even though you wrecked my Cavs. So would you put Michael Jordan on a Cavs jersey, right? You just wouldn't.
Oh, dude, it only applies to GOAT. It does not apply to Jordan.
Actually ridiculous. Raj, you gonna be back tomorrow, or are you in the office?
Tomorrow I should be good. Rest of the week, probably not.
All right. So, Raj is back tomorrow. Josh is on the PrizePicks show. And then hopefully I'll get some more collabs going out this week. Twitter.com/Gundacker. Almost at 3,000 followers. Be sure to get over there. Raj is on Twitter too, but I don't think he's changed his handle yet. So it's some dumb stuff.
Showstime_15. Yeah, I'm going to change it to Jalen Carter Music. I just got to make that a music account eventually.
Do it now. Chad, I appreciate you guys. Hit that thumbs up for me on the way out. Sub if you haven't already. Getting to 7K subs. Close your February out strong. I'll be in the RunDFS.com VIP voice chat in just a few minutes, 20 minutes to be exact, talking this slate, making some lineups, man. I love you guys. Tell somebody out there you love them. It's a crazy world out there. Pray for peace. I love you guys. Good luck. God bless. Go in some money.